that Australians are racist.
Yeah.
But we actually have every single country lives in Australia.
Yeah.
And I just disagree with the racist tag, because in Japan, nice people, but there are a whole bunch of older people who will give you the most horrible looks. Try and drive you off the road. Just last week, a guy pushed me off the side. I could just tell he was being racist. He thought I was American or something, you know?
Yeah.
Which is fair enough, but at the same, well, we are, you know, the older you get, the grumpier you are, perhaps, in what it could be. But at the same time, it's probably because he hasn't travelled the world.
Yeah.
He hasn't lived in Switzerland and gone, it turns out the guy from Persia is actually a nice guy, or whatever.
Yeah.
It is. So that's what I find. This other podcast show I do is with these guys that are the top of business, okay? And every single one of them had the same story. I left school, I travelled the world for a couple of years.
Yeah.
And then saw Australia as an opportunity to dominate, you know, and they don't have that racism, or they don't have that in their mind at all. It's like, no, we're all the same.
Yeah.
This is just what I want to do, you know. It's a secret.
Yeah.
So,
and this is one complaint I have about Americans, actually. Americans, most of the time, don't travel outside of the country. They usually... Their excuse is, our country is big, so let's just go to some, I don't know, Kentucky, for example, right?
Yeah, right.
Or Massachusetts.
See the mountains in Colorado, go to the beach.
Which is fine, but you're not doing it right, I guess. You need to meet other people. Otherwise, you are forever confined in that tiny little world you carved out for yourself. So,
yeah.
And obviously, you know, they're happy. I mean, it's not like they're unhappy because they don't go abroad. That's the way they do things, but I feel it's kind of disappointing. I mean,
one chance at life.
Because on the news, right, in American news, they always criticize other countries, and of course, people follow that criticism because they themselves never been there. They don't know anything about those countries. Some of the polls, right, are just hilarious. So people on the streets, for example, when that conflict in the Ukraine started, right. People in the streets were asked, were given a map of the world, blank map. So only the borders were drawn on the map, but no names of the countries, of course. And they were just asked, very simple question, please point where is the Ukraine? You think people got it? No, they don't know where it is. Some people put it in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean. I mean, come on. Like, that's what I'm saying, that you need to... I think, first of all, knowledge is something that should not be limited. You should always seek out more knowledge. Brain capacity is absolutely gigantic. There is no excuse not to learn more things. I speak 3 languages. I'm learning Italian. Why am I learning Italian in Japan? No real reason, except that, well, I love the language. I know French, so it helps me a lot. And why not? Just why not? I mean...
That's right.
It just gives me an insight on their culture, with their thinking, and helps me to understand Italy more. I love Italian food, but I mean...
Yeah, I've never been there.
Oh, I recommend.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Well, someone told me, they said, well, I go to Italy all the time. And I was like, okay, obviously it's a beautiful place.
Yeah.
And he said, no, do you understand that you could, in one drive from 100 kilometres, in Australia you could drive 100 kilometres and you don't see anything.
Right.
And you are pretty much in the city.
Yeah.
You know, but in that same 100 kilometre drive, or miles or whatever you want to say, is Ferrari, Fiat, I don't know, all the fashion labels, all the quality tiles of the world, all these, everything. He just went bang, 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 just laid them all out for me. I went, what is with that place?
Yeah, yeah.
Like, well, why? Well, actually, and Iran's just over here. I was saying this again. I'm bringing up the Persian guy. We in Australia, when the Middle Eastern guys come to Australia, we instantly don't like their bravado. They just have this aggressive sort of machoism, you know, big gold chains, and I was just looking at my friend going, I want to hate you. Mm-hmm. You're just completely different to an Australian. You've got all this gold jewelry, like you're an Italian guy, you know. You know those, you know the classic mate. Look, this is what they say in Australia. Mate, look at me, right? So we want to hate you straight away.
Yeah.
But why?
Yeah.
It just seems to be his country, Iran particularly.
Yeah.
which is a pretty democratic and free country before that thing took
Yes,
over. It turns
yes.
out, yeah, and Italy.
Yeah.
They're just these hubs of overdressing and style and
Yeah. Well, it's Milan is the fashion capital of
And-
Europe, right? So
yeah,
I recommend going to Venice if you ever.
yeah.
I mean, if you want like just one trip,
Right.
go to Venice. I mean, it's really worth it.
Wow.
You'll never see anything like it anyway.
So when did you start filmmaking? When
Um,
did the idea?
The idea, so, after I finished university, I studied multimedia at university, but
Which university were?
Manchester in England.
Wow. See,
But you see, like, how can
is that where you got the idea for soccer or your football?
No, I had that before.
Yeah.
If you grew up in Europe, soccer is in your blood, so...
Right.
No, I studied multimedia, and I was a bit disappointed because before you go to university, they send you this brochure where you read about the courses, and I pretty much remember, I wasn't drunk or anything, I wasn't seeing things. I think I read it. They wrote in that book that students have cameras and they kind of go around and shoot things, and okay, I'm like, that's great. That's what I want to do. Yeah, when I got there, none of that at all. No cameras whatsoever. Never existed, apparently, in that place. It was kind of computer graphics, which is something that interests me also, but I just don't want to be stuck in the office and just doing computer graphics. I mean, I'm not that kind of guy. So when I finished university, I felt, okay, I actually didn't learn anything here. I mean, really. I mean, I cannot find a job with what I know. So a lot of people actually say that after university, which is a huge problem right now in the world. But I had to do something. And I'm like, okay, well, I really want to kind of do more video things. So I found myself a film school in Canada, in Toronto. And I had to beg my dad to send me there because obviously I can't afford it. So I remember writing this extremely long email to him explaining exactly why he should kind of sponsor it. And he did, and I learned everything there. Everything I
but
need.
again, you found yourself in a different culture,
Yeah.
different country.
Well, Canada...
That's a little European.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Canada is kind of the... in America, there is a joke. They say Canada is America, but Europe style. And I think it's kind of fair, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know about other cities in Canada, like Quebec or, Montreal or Vancouver. Never been there. Toronto, for me, was not so great. I mean, people are kind of cold there and just not great. But, I wasn't there for the people. I was there for the school, and the school gave me everything I wanted. So,
And do you have many films out, or what is this film you're working on now the greatest thing the largest project you've been working on?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, definitely the documentary is by far and by really far the biggest project I've ever worked on. I mean, just the amount of work I put into it is immense. You have to understand that, for example, sometimes we use the kind of bad camera and the microphone doesn't plug into the camera. So that means that, okay, I have to kind of speak the text for the video, but then I have to re-record my voice on top of that and then try to adjust it to my lips. I mean, you can just imagine how...
Yeah.
I mean, I think that's what made me depressed, actually, lately.
For sure, you're bogged into this one place.
And it's boring. It's
Yeah.
not creative. It's just you're adjusting it, and it doesn't fit by like 1 microsecond. I'm not kidding. And you have to like redo it. And
Right.
But no, I've done other films. But I'm independent, so I don't work for... I mean, I basically have my own studio, and nobody pays me yet to do what I do. I've done some short films. I'm more into sci-fi in general. I've done a couple of music videos, but this is kind of what I do.
What do you love the most? Being on site with the camera in your hand? Do you look for great shots?
Yeah.
From what I've seen of your edit work,
Yeah.
that trailer is I couldn't believe it. You sent me the trailer before I even met you.
Yeah.
And you needed a camera hand
Yes.
on the day.
Yeah.
And I was looking at this trailer going, it's Spielberg. Like, what? Wow. What have I lucked into?
Yeah.
You know, and I met you on site and I went,
Yeah.
oh, wow, you've created just from this, you've got great gear,
Yeah.
great camera and gear, but people would be pretty blown away to see that trailer
Yeah.
and realize it's just one man, a camera,
Yeah.
and your own gear. It's this huge looking film. Yeah.
Well, I think that this is what I've trained myself to do. Really, I know that, especially in Japan, it's very. In Canada, it's easy to find a crew of volunteers. I just post something. It's like, hey, you want to help out? You know, I have this project. There's no money, but you want to help out, and some people usually turn up. You know, but in Japan, I think they have the people here in the filmmaking kind of business, even the very beginners, have this very. I don't say it's weird, but it's very kind of distorted understanding of reality because they want to get paid from the very first gig. And that's not how it works. I'm sorry. It's just not how it works. You have to do volunteer work first to get your name out there. Yeah. And then if you're any good, then you get paid for what you do. So I have big trouble finding crew members in Japan. I mean, it's almost impossible, I would
Even
say.
you have a language barrier as well.
That too, yeah.
So it'd be tough.
Yeah.
Tough. Do you think you'll live here forever?
Yes, perhaps not in Yokohama though. I mean, I was probably thinking of going to Hokkaido, but this is something in 10 or 15 years from now. Temperature is much better there.
Yeah, right. Lots of Australians there, did you know?
Yeah, and Russians too, by the way. Yeah.
Okay. I've never been there.
It's very nice.
I need to go.
Yeah.
Yeah, the temperature here, it's just humid. Oh, you lived in the Philippines.
Yeah.
I've only landed in Singapore. That's the nearest, say, horrible humidity that I've ever felt. I could not live there.
Yeah. Hong Kong. I mean, basically, it's that equator, right? I mean, I've been to Hong Kong for a week. It was the same thing. At least at night, it was breathable, but during the day, it's impossible.
Wow. Why? Why do they stay?
Someone
said some story about people started walking north. Went, it's a bit too cold. Why don't we just keep walking south?
Yeah,
this is nice.
Well, I think the temperatures were not as high back then, right? I mean, now the climate change, which by the way is real and man-made, definitely. I think that increased the temperature in all those places. So people were perhaps used to 25 degrees, but now it's 30. Right. So, but they already have built the city there. Where are you going to go now? They're stuck.
Yesterday I went surfing on the beach.
Yep.
And there's so much plastic.
I know.
And like I said, Japan, they do it probably the best I've ever seen. Like if you've got a tub of yogurt, you don't just throw it in the bin, you wash it first and you put it in a plastic one. But if the lid is paper or whatever, you take the paper off, you wash it and put it in the paper bin.
Yeah.
Cans go there and plastic go there. Yep. Totally. You know, Australia, we still put everything in one bin.
Yeah.
Some states have, or some little towns have, a recycling bin.
Yeah.
But even that pretty much ends up in the same place.
Yeah.
You know, 27 million people in a huge place. No one really cares.
Yeah.
To be honest, people care, but
how are the beaches in Australia? I mean, is it
beautiful.
Also? But is it also full of plastic?
Never.
We'll see.
And on top of that, if we do see, they're so clean that when we do see plastic, everyone kind of flips out and picks it up. So, and every morning in all our tourist areas, we have a big tractor with a huge circular spinning collector on the back. Yeah. And our council, we pay a lot of money for the council to clean up every park, every single day, every beach. Yeah. It's spotless.
That's cool.
I'm talking, the water is just crystal clear.
Yeah.
It's very hard to live here.
Yeah.
For me, you know, I visit the beach every day. So to see that nightmare that I saw yesterday, and that's a clean beach technically, I would hate to go to China. I've been to Thailand and Bali.
Yep.
And Bali was the craziest rubbish
really?
of all time. Yeah, there were just simply no bins anywhere. There's no council system at all.
Yeah.
You'd think of all the money Australia and all our tourism, at least Australia could create.
Yeah.
That and fix that problem.
Yeah.
Yeah, just